Hello, welcome to another toneless landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence. I'm Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you is called Meadow Monochromatic. Painted this back in, oh my goodness, March. I've been sitting on it a while, but I'm setting up a studio in the back. I've been busy doing that. I had that show that I was setting up. I don't know if it was last week, week before, and it's just been crazy. Life's crazy. But I'm going to be getting back in the studio today and doing some painting, so I'm looking forward to that. It's been a little while, and if I go too long, I start feeling real antsy, and I think that's what you call a good habit. Um, let's talk about this painting. This painting is sort of based on a scene out here in good old New Zealand. I felt like doing a monochromatic. Didn't have a lot of time that day, so a lot of times that's great because I don't even need to get out my big palette. I'll just squeeze out some black, squeeze out some white. I'll mix up a middle gray. I really recommend doing that if you're going to do monochromatics. And what you find is that you actually use that middle gray more than any other color. So, and I usually shoot for 50 or 60%, which is about the color that I shoot for on the backing color on the board. By the way, this was primed with, so what do I do when I'm priming a board for monochromatics? Well, I think obviously gray is a great color to paint on. I have tried them on other colors with limited success because you get little bits of stuff peeking through, unless you get real crazy and you get your magnifying glass out. How do I do that? You want to know? Well, it's early in the video, and so many of you bail around 6. Usually, I like to wait to drop the great tips till like the 7-minute mark. But you know what? You tuned in. You're here watching. You made it this far. So what I like to do is I have black gesso and white gesso. I mix the two together. And I usually apply it with a little foam roller like you use for painting your house, but a small one like you might use for the trim and stuff. And I recommend if you clean those out real well, they last a long time. I mean, they're not super expensive, but you never know when something might not be available, especially in this modern age with the inflation and everything going on. But and hopefully you're weathering that well. Now here what you see me doing is, I think light source was indistinct in the reference. Always pick some sort of directional light. You don't need to make it like an intense high contrasty, like it's super bright on one side, super dark on the other. But definitely pick a side. Don't go with indistinct light. And one mistake I used to make quite a lot in the old days was I would light, let's say like a scene like this, I've got kind of a bright bit in the middle. I would think, oh, I'll light the left side, I'll have it dark on the left side of the painting, and on the right side, that's just a weird effect. Don't do it. Well, do it, and then notice a few years later what a weird effect it is and how you wish you hadn't done it. I know I'm full of oats today. God, it's been a little while since I talked to you. Hold on, I gotta tell my little doggy to be quiet, please. Good boy. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt the video, but that's little Jerry guarding the house. Okay, let me pause this. Oh, sorry about that. I was trying to do it with all, quiet indicators or what have you. So anyway, yeah, you prime the board, two coats of gesso, and I like to sand in between. Now, you can build up a little bit of a pebbly texture if you don't sand too much, and that can be nice. It can be annoying too. It all depends. The nice thing about having a little bit of texture is that you could always use the side of your brush to kind of do some gradiating or faux detail or that kind of thing. Um, Yeah, so, and now I did my whole underdrawing here with probably ivory black here, or probably maybe Mars black. I like Mars Black quite a lot. Um, what's the difference? What's the difference, you say? I've often wondered. A lot of times, you know what? You don't really see ivory black in acrylics too much. If you know acrylics real well and you've seen that, let me know in the comments below. I haven't seen it. When I look at black on the acrylics, usually I look up the code. It's Mars Black. Now, Mars Black. What is Mars Black? Well, it's a synthetic. It's a but that's not actually accurate because what it really is more is it's a earth pigment that's been refined. So it has some unique properties, and I like Mars Black because it's very dense, it's very opaque, and that's quite useful. A lot of times, not so much with underpaintings, but you might struggle with transparency on the Ivory Black. Also, I think the Mars Black is a little bit quicker drier. Ivory Black is usually not recommended for underpaintings because it's a very slow dryer. Where that means nothing, though, is if you're just doing your underpainting and then just going right in with your color, which is what I did here. Um, Notice, too, a lot of times I'll do the sky. If I have some little water or something, it just makes sense to do that at the same time since it's basically the very similar colors. Keep in mind, though, that when your sky is reflected in the water, it's just a bit darker. Don't go as bright. That is like it's the difference between noticing and not noticing, really. Or some guy like me came along and put you onto that. Yeah. But yeah, do the drawing such underpainting, but that also serves as the darkest, the foundation for the darkest. And now in a monochromatic like this, I might not go a heck of a lot further with that darkest. But if it was a color painting, I would paint this guy in and then go in and restate the darks, is how I always put it. Restate that black, get it nice and dark, and that's how I like it. Yeah. Now some people like to keep their darks all transparent and stuff, and that's good. That was me too for first 5-6 years doing the chromatic darks, and you're like, what do you mean chromatic dark, Mike? You're laying so many pearls of wisdom on us. I've actually stayed tuned. So what is a chromatic black? Well, you can buy chromatic black from like a Gamblin. I know for sure makes one. I used to make it with a well, I still do if I want a chromatic black. A phthalo green and alizarin crimson makes a very, very dark color that is perceptually black. But it has a very purpley feel and quality. It'd be very difficult to do something like a monochromatic painting like this with it. But it didn't really matter because I didn't start doing monochromatic paintings till last year or maybe the year before. And I love them. I'm thinking of doing some more. Got some nudes I'm going to do too. I'm really debating. I tried starting a new channel, but what's the point? You got no, you got to start from the ground up again. I'm reminded of when David Gilmour left Pink Floyd. You're like, what? What? I know you've heard of Pink Floyd. Even if you're young, you've heard of Pink Floyd. Well, he put out a really excellent solo record, and it got no traction, and he's touring clubs, down from stadiums when he was doing Pink Floyd. And so what did he do? He reformed Pink Floyd without good old Roger Waters, which really pissed off Roger. Roger was not happy because Roger thought there couldn't be a Pink Floyd without Roger. But Roger was wrong. And he wisely recognized that he had the name Pink Floyd had name recognition, and years of people buying records and knowing what it was, as opposed to David Gilmour. They didn't even really know. Some people know. Some people in the know knew, but he wasn't going to reach a massive audience. He had to start from the ground up, which is getting to my point, which is something I try to do. I try to get to my point. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, well, I started a channel from the ground up. So, actually, hey, that's another thing. You can let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing some figurative stuff on the channel. Because I've been selling some, and, I'm not a commercial artist, but if you're selling things, you're kind of inclined to maybe do more of them. That's natural. It's very natural, isn't it? Just like the human form is natural. All right, so what do we do next? You saw I painted the sky in first using range. I usually start with a dark gray, and then medium gray, and then go to lightest, and then you saw all that. Then we move into the land. If I need to, I restate the darks. And this one, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Don't recall. Was busy talking, so wasn't paying attention. But you can always rewind the video and see what I did there. Um, but yeah, and then I go in with the same thing. It's very simple. I work from dark to light, dark to light. So in the sky, I put in the darkest clouds, and then I work to light. There are times, especially if it's like a blue sky type of thing, I might paint in the blue of the sky first before I paint in the darkest bits of the cloud. By the way, tips ahoy at the 10-minute mark. I've said this on the channel before, but you probably haven't watched all 700 or 800 videos. Um, I don't care what it looks like in the photo. The the darkest clouds in your sky, the darkest cloud should never be anywhere even close to as dark as anything on the land, and I mean that. And you can get away with it in photography. You see it. You might even perceive it in reality when you're looking outside. It may seem like that cloud is really dark, but it's not as dark as a tree silhouetted against it. No way, no how. So don't do it. That's one thing that will automatically flatten your landscape and just be wrong. It'll look wrong. It creates a very claustrophobic feeling. And I loves me some dark clouds. I love me some stormy skies and stuff. Anyway, it's all built up dark to medium to lightest. And then a lot of times I might come in and just where I maybe lost some dark bits, I might go in and just kind of get those back. But don't think you can paint dark over light successfully. You need to have a sort of foundation of dark underneath, which is one reason why I approach my landscape painting the way I do, with the underpainting being dark and going into even really darks, because you want those darks to recede. You always want them underneath everything. You don't plant your darks on top. Now you can put a dot here or there, and certainly if you've lost some definition in the shadow form or something like that, you can go in and just kind of tap a little more. In my case, black. I just use black. Oh, why did I stop using chromatic? We got just a minute. Why did I stop using chromatic black? Well, you can make tonalist paintings with it, but they weren't quite right. So it wasn't until I started using real black, like the tonalist did, that I felt I started getting authentic tonalist results. I got something very close. It was an approximation, but that chromatic black, that's kind of an impressionist trope. It really is. I don't use black. I don't like black. It's too cold. It creates holes in the painting. Whatever. Take your impressionist, I don't like or use black, and go over to that channel over there. The one over there. And you guys can own chromatic black your lives away. I'll tell you why, though. It doesn't really matter with Impressionism. I got a minute. Impressionism tends to Impressionist scenes, Impressionist paintings all tend to be lighter. And if I had any sense, I'd probably be painting that way. I'd be selling tons more paintings. I sell what I sell, though, and I do okay with my darker, more tonalist approach. I know I was trying to keep things bright, or at least contrasty. But yeah, that's why it doesn't matter, because you don't have that many dark areas in an Impressionist painting. It's all about glorious fields of primary color, or color close to primary. That's not fair. That's not fair. I shouldn't be harsh. You can get into pastels and all that too. It's all good. I likes me some Impressionism. That's not how I paint, though. And if you want to get these kind of results, especially monochromatic, trying to do a monochromatic with a chromatic black, it'd be like trying to make a song with all 12 notes of the scale, as opposed to just 7. You can make a song, but it's going to be a weird song. And anyway, hey, end of the video. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you. Check this out in the members area. It's about an hour long, and you'll get the blow-by-blow as I paint along. Until we come back with another video, do me a solid, do me a favor, please. Take good care of yourself, all your loved ones. Be patient with people who have different beliefs than you, and stay out of trouble.